From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
Kamala, you're fired!
I say, bring it on.
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining the program today. A new dawn is rising on the United States as Donald Trump prepares to make his triumphant return to the White House. We're across the historic turn of events shaping the U.S. presidential election, and we'll get you caught up on all of it. But first, a look at the latest headlines. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fires his defense minister Yoav Gallant the night of the U.S. election. Israel Katz, the current foreign minister, has been named the new defense minister. China unveils a new stealth fighter jet in the country's largest annual air show. Military experts say the Chinese J-35 stealth jet is a copy of the American F-35 stealth fighter. Kenyan President William Ruto reaches out to China to join the BRIC nations. Nairobi says it can offer a larger access into Africa for the non-Western grouping. The Latin American nation of Colombia signs a military deal with Sweden. This includes Bogota purchasing fighter jets, small arms, and ammunition from the Nordic nation. And Pakistan closes down schools in its northeastern provinces, affecting millions of students. This as the South Asian nation battles record air pollution.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
We're going to help our country heal.
The race for the White House has finally come to an end. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has won the 2024 presidential election. According to projections, the former president has defeated Vice President Kamala Harris to become the 47th president of the United States. In a race that was expected to go down to the wire, swing states including North Carolina, Georgia, and Pennsylvania turned red, giving Donald Trump a resounding victory. Addressing his supporters in Florida, Donald Trump called his win a movement unlike ever before.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much.
In his post-election speech, Donald Trump vowed to fight for American families and their future. The president-elect added that he would not rest until he creates a strong and prosperous America by fixing the economy and the border.
There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Surrounded by members from the Trump campaign, former President Donald Trump thanked his running mate J.D. Vance for supporting him.
And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. We're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
The now president-elect then went on to thank other campaign members, particularly billionaire Elon Musk, who was instrumental in his re-election bid. After purchasing Twitter, now X, it was Elon Musk who removed the ban on Donald Trump ahead of the election. The Tesla CEO also extensively campaigned for Donald Trump in the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania, and his efforts clearly paid off on election night.
Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy.
Now, Donald Trump has now become only the second president in American history to have won the White House for a second time after losing re-election after the first term. The last time this happened was in 1892 when Grover Cleveland was renominated to the White House after being president in 1884, only to lose the election in 1888. However, Donald Trump has become the first president to survive an assassination attempt during campaigning and return to the White House. Last night's victory for Donald Trump in many ways will be considered one of the greatest political comebacks in American history. And staying with the race for the White House, Donald Trump pulled off a major win in the presidential race by flipping two key swing states, Georgia and Pennsylvania. Back in 2020, the same two states went to President Joe Biden, who witnessed a sweeping victory with over 50% in Pennsylvania and over 49% in Georgia. However, 4 years later, Donald Trump has flipped the key states to reclaim the White House. In Georgia, the former president reversed his 2020 loss by appealing to a diverse set of voters, including Latino and Black communities. Now, despite his hardline stance on issues like immigration, Latino men especially turned to Donald Trump, citing his handling of economic issues.
He was a president who was for real. He does his bullying thing. He makes his jokes. He has his way of speaking, but he does things well. The only one who can deal with the world like it is right now.
So I voted for Donald J. Trump. I feel like Trump has, I feel like in today's day and age, you vote for the person rather than the party. I'm not condoning like either actions from either president because they've both done bad, and I acknowledge that. But I feel like whoever has the best interest, or whoever I feel like has the most patriot feeling of America, is someone who will like take us further and lead us to a better place.
Now, interestingly, it was men who were not the only ones who voted for the former president. Despite his strong stance on abortion rights, Donald Trump also saw an increase in votes from women.
And I actually heard the Joe Rogan podcast with Trump, and just Trump answers questions directly. Sometimes he doesn't, but he's definitely more honest than Kamala Harris. You ask Kamala about her policies, she ends up saying, I came from a middle class. Like that's all she says.
Now in Pennsylvania, the state with the largest electoral vote count among all swing states, Donald Trump played up his experience and tough stance on economic policies. Per exit polls, this struck deep with the age group between 45 to 65 and beyond. And in the same state, white men were also in favor of the former president, with at least 55% siding with the former president. Donald Trump's win in the swing state underscores the erosion of the work done by President Biden as Vice President Kamala Harris woefully underperformed President Biden's 2020 performance. The final swing state tallies are yet to be called. However, Donald Trump currently leads Kamala Harris in Arizona, Nevada, and Michigan after having already swept the other swing states. And world leaders have congratulated Donald Trump after he declared victory in the presidential election. In a social media post, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called Donald Trump's return to the White House history's greatest comeback. Netanyahu also called for a powerful recommitment to the alliance between Israel and America. Turkey's President Erdogan called Donald Trump's re-election a great struggle. Erdogan further hoped that Trump's second term would bring regional peace to wars in Gaza and Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky praised the Republican leader and said he relies on America's support in the war against Russia. Donald Trump's peace ultimatum reportedly includes halting military aid to Kyiv, forcing the country to cede some territories and abandon its NATO ambitions. Russia's former president Dmitry Medvedev said Donald Trump's win would probably be bad news for Ukraine. And the Kremlin said Vladimir Putin does not plan to congratulate Donald Trump. Now, China also did not congratulate Donald Trump on his victory as well. However, it does hope for a peaceful coexistence with the United States.
Our policy towards the U.S. is consistent. We will continue to view and handle China-U.S. relations under the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation.
Meanwhile, good wishes also poured in from the United Kingdom as Prime Minister Keir Starmer hoped for prosperity for both countries. French President Emmanuel Macron said he was ready to work with his incoming U.S. counterpart as they did just 4 years ago. And Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni hailed Donald Trump's good work and called Italy and America sister nations. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who calls Donald Trump a good friend, posted multiple pictures of them together to wish him well on the win. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also congratulated Donald Trump, who defeated Vice President Kamala Harris in an extremely tight race. NATO Chief Mark Rutte, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, and presidents of El Salvador and South Korea also hailed Trump's victory.
I see a shining victory, perhaps the biggest comeback of the history of Western politics. It's been a huge fight. He was threatened with prison. His wealth was confiscated. They wanted to kill him. The whole media world turned against him in America, and he still won. This means a big encouragement for those who believe in willpower, fighting, perseverance. For the world, it means the hope of peace.
Donald Trump has been critical of the NATO alliance and has even accused European partners of not paying enough for security. Now it's too early to say if Donald Trump will maintain his relationships with these nations, but all eyes will be on his decisions for Ukraine and Gaza, where he has repeatedly called for an end to the wars. And against all odds and storms of controversy, Donald Trump will be returning to the White House. Under blazing lights in Florida, he declared, "America, this is your victory." Surrounded by family and supporters, he promised a golden age ahead. Flanked by his running mate J.D. Vance, Donald Trump vowed to seal the borders, revive the economy, and make America great again. Our next report dives into Donald Trump's fiery Florida address.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
4 years ago, he is now... Just after winning Pennsylvania, Donald Trump began with a triumphant tone at the Palm Beach County Convention Center in Florida. Surrounded by family and an ecstatic crowd, the former president stood tall, thanking the nation that despite all odds, propelled him to a historic comeback.
They came from all quarters, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment. And then he just goes in.
Flanked by his running mate J.D. Vance, Donald Trump painted a vision of a golden age of America.
Say a couple of words.
His promise was clear, a powerful rebirth that would make America strong, safe, and proud again.
Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. We're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
With sweeping electoral votes in his favor and Republicans reclaiming the Senate, Donald Trump called the Senate wins incredible. The address was electric and Trump's voice echoed with confidence. But even though most of his family members and his allies were giving him a massive shout-out, there was someone missing from the stage, and it was the Tesla CEO and Trump's staunchest ally, Elon Musk. But his absence was not missed because Donald Trump vowed to save the geniuses.
Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy.
Not just the tech titan, but the CEO of the ultimate fighting champion was also not far behind in appreciating the new president. Dana White, who vociferously endorsed Trump throughout the latter's campaign, called him the most resilient man he has ever met.
This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family.
Consecutive terms.
The rally had the crowd on its feet, and as they cheered, Trump's recent words from his final Michigan rally echoed.
If you vote for Lion Kamala, you will have 4 more years of misery, failure, and disaster our country may never recover from.
Donald Trump's stance on tariffs also hit home with supporters, where he vowed to impose a 100% tariff on cars made in Mexico.
We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally.
As he wrapped up, the atmosphere was electric in Mar-a-Lago.
He did a great job. He was very fearless, and he took care of Pennsylvania. You know that the people saw he almost got killed there, so it's very historical that he's going to flip that state.
It's going to be harder to try to steal the election this time. You know, it's kind of America's woken up a little. You know, we really needed to wake up, and it took a certain person to do that. And now that we are, I think it's going to be harder to try to overcome this positivity that we all have for Trump.
Trump knew this wasn't just about votes. It was a movement. He made his final bow, leaving his supporters with one last promise. Now it's time to make America great again.
And finally, a grand meme fest took over social media as the presidential election ended. Some recalled The Simpsons' prediction of Donald Trump winning the White House, while others trolled First Lady Jill Biden on unwittingly becoming a MAGA supporter. Here's our final report.
Election day has come to a close. And now for voters across the United States, the next steps are panicking and Googling exit polls every minute to know who has won this year's extremely tight race. For most of us, this election anxiety is real. It definitely messes with our minds and gives us a nervous stomach. But luckily, we have a blessing called social media to find humor even during this high-stakes contest. Let's start with the best. When the counting began and battleground states were still too soon to be called, the colors on the map, well, looked something like this. Stress levels went through the roof, with a close race in Pennsylvania, with the state being considered the key to the White House. While some of the posts on X recalled The Simpsons predictions, others wondered who between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris was the lesser of two evils. But while people are obsessing, or should we say fighting, over a Trump or Harris presidency, America's first ladies managed to steal the spotlight with their outfits. Social media was sent into a frenzy when current First Lady Jill Biden showed up to cast her vote wearing a red pantsuit. Yes, red, the color associated with Trump's Republican Party. And when former First Lady Melania Trump reached with her husband to cast her ballot, internet users couldn't help but notice that she refused to take off her sunglasses. Some people questioned whether Melania Trump was really there, or was that a body double, an impostor of sorts?
Take over, Elijah!
The meme machinery didn't even spare the friendship between Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk. Mind you, Elon Musk himself shared some memes with the hope of getting an official post in the White House. And when the world is contributing to the grand meme fest, how can Indians stay far behind? The world's largest population is keenly awaiting the next US president. For them, the election fever is as real as it gets. So while some Indians were sharing election updates minute by minute, others asked them to calm down a bit. Some memers also photoshopped Trump's picture over Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's, hoping for his landslide victory.
The 47th president.
Surely the meme fest would continue even after the next president is officially sworn in. And with the power of social media, users will continue to paint the picture of what they believe is the future of America.
Thanks everyone for tuning in today and all throughout our election coverage. We'll be right back here tomorrow, and we look forward to having you right here with us. Have a great day, everyone. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
Kamala, you're fired!
I say, bring it on.
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.